olden days, there was a system of hunting. They used a kind of a grass, very green as well as maybe in the Sutta says they are in the color of blue. That means they are not blue grass, they are very green, strong green grass. Even in a very strong drought, these grass don't die, they survive. The hunters, what do they do is that they select a patch of land near to a lake and they put a fence around it and they sow the seeds of this grass and naturally they grow up. Yeah. This grass has a very particular smell. When the deer, a group of deer, when they smell it, they just come and hit the fence, make a hole and enter. They eat and they run away. Right? The deer is an animal which is very scared, always in fear. So they know this is stealing, this is a kind of a dangerous place. They don't hang around. On the first day, they eat quickly and drink some water from the lake, run away. On the second day they comes in. Now they are used to this place a bit. They eat not that much of rush. They just later slowly get out of the place. On the third day they are now not at all scared. They hang around and they even sleep in this area among the grass. And this grass has a very intoxicating effect. You are like drunk when you eat them. Yeah? And so they fall asleep. Then comes the hunters. They cover up that hole and they capture this deer without any difficulty. A group of deer can be caught easily with that method. So the grass which create the intoxication in the deer and make them entrapped in the Māras or in the deer hunters trap called Nivāpa. Okay, so Nivāpa is a grass, deer hunters grass. Yeah. Now with this simile, Buddha explained this Dhamma, comparing the deer hunter to the Māra, and how should a novitiate, how should the recluses, the people who gave up the household life, should practice so that they can get rid of this Māra's bait, Māra's trap, and can be liberated from the Māra. Yeah. Now we know the Nivāpa is simile of the deer bait. This bait is grass. A kind of intoxicating, kind of fragrant, grass. They survive even in the droughts. They survive. Yeah. Now that is the first type of deer, first group of deer. They were not aware at all, they were not mindful at all, they were not intelligent at all. They just trapped the Māra's bait or the deer hunter's bait that easily. Yeah? Right? This is the first group. Easily trapped in the Māra's bait. What is the Māra's bait? What is this Māra's bait? Māra's bait or the Māra's trap is the 5 chords of sensual pleasures. 5 chords of sensual pleasures. What are the 5? What are the 5 chords of sensual pleasures? Eye and the form. Right? Eye is the base. Form is the attraction or what the eye can see. Right? Actually, I cannot see the form. The eye can see only the color. The color is the only area that the eye can capture. What happens when we find this the color that we like? What happens? We create desires on them. We create desires on them. We create attachments on them. We want them more and more again and again. Right? So that is the trap for us. One trap. The other trap, the sound. Melodious, beautiful sounds that we like to hear. Yeah? We create attachment to that. There are sounds that create happiness for us. There are sounds that create suffering for us. Yeah? Even when people die, some people they put the records of chanting, suttas chanting. Why? Does suttas, when they put the records of suttas chanting, that sound, if a person who has created a great fondness, great attachment to the chanting, naturally when he hears the chanting, when he is about to die, his mind is kind of calm, kind of happy consciousness. Yeah? So because of that, they put the recordings of chanting. Yeah? And especially when somebody is about to die, the last to die is what? The ear. The ear is the last to die. They can hear. They can hear what they can hear what you say. So be careful. They might look unconscious, but they can still hear you. Yeah? You have to be careful what you are talking. Yeah? Don't make them come back to you again. Be careful. So, the sounds to the ear. We have the sounds are sounds, but what do is we separate the sounds we like, the sounds we don't like. In the mosque, no matter how beautiful sound comes out of mosque, they are very melodious sounds. Yeah, I used to listen to this singing in the mosque. We don't call them singing, right? Prayers in the mosque, actually very melodious. But we have our background dislike for that sound, right? We think that this is a nuisance. With that background, if we listen to that sound, what happened? No matter how melodious it is, still we will dislike. Right? There is nothing wrong with the sound. Nothing wrong with that prayer. The wrong or the mistake is our created dislike against that. Yeah? Our created dislike against that. That is the wrong. So also the smell. So also the taste. Right? So also the taste. Now, my tongue is a Sri Lankan tongue. What does it mean by Sri Lankan tongue? It is used to the Sri Lankan food. A lot of spices. Yeah. Sri Lankan food. Now I have conditioned myself. So whatever food, I say what delicious is what? Not in the general sense. I say the delicious food according to the condition, according to the attachment I have created within myself. Now, sensual pleasure is the Māra's bait, hunter's cage. This sensual pleasure is nothing but the desire we have created within us for those particular objects of sensual pleasures. Right? We have conditioned ourselves. Now, Māra's bait is these sensual pleasures. The condition we have created within us. Now, what happened is this group quickly they jump into the sensual pleasures and they are stuck in it. They cannot get rid of it. This happens. This happens to the monastics. Yeah? This is not talking about you. This is talking about the people who are in the robes, in the monastics. Yeah? What happened is they come into this practice. After that, they are in the middle of sensual pleasures. In the middle of sensual pleasures. Then what happened? They don't know how to get rid of it. They are stuck in it. Then the Māra will do whatever he likes to do with this type of people who are in his bondage. In his bondage. Yeah? The second type of people is the people who saw the danger of sensual pleasures and the people who went to the other extreme. That means the people who ran away to the forests, away from the human civilizations. They are completely, absolutely into the meditation. During the Buddha's time, there were some hermits like that. They went to the practice deep into the forest. They only came once a year looking for what? Looking for salted food. Because in the forest, whatever food they take is no salt. Fruits and some roots, yeah, some thing like potatoes or some kind of roots. Only in the forest they get this. So the people who ran away to the forest, rejecting these sensual pleasures, once a year they come back, especially during the rains retreats, during the raining times, they come back to the cities, stay 3 months. What happened is, in the city, they start getting these sensual pleasures. Yeah? They start getting these sensual pleasures. When they start getting these sensual pleasures, what happened? They haven't got rid of the desire for sensual pleasures. They just ran away from the sensual pleasures. They haven't got rid of them. So what happened is they start experiencing the sensual pleasures like delicious food, beautiful visionaries, right? melodious songs. When they listen to this, what happened? Unknowingly, they get into the trap of the Māra. It is compared a flock of deer who saw what happened to the first group of deer who was stuck in that Nivāpa. Yeah? This second group of deer saw this happening and they ran away. Ran away further into the forest, not to come back. But what happened? With the drought, they don't have water. They don't have green to eat. Then they had to come back. Then they had to come back to this place, right? Then when they start eating inside the fence, they got intoxicated and they fell asleep, and the hunters, the trappers, the cavemen caught them. Second one is also lost. The second group of deer also lost. Yeah? And the third group, the people who become religious, started creating views. You know view? Started creating views. In the Sutta, there are a number of views are given. These are the views were existing at that time, and see whether they are existing today. Yeah? The world is eternal. The world is not eternal. The world is finite, and the world is infinite. The soul and the body are the same. The soul is one thing and the body is another. And after death, the Buddha exists. After death, Buddha does not exist. After death, Buddha both exists and does not exist. After death, Tathagata, Buddha, neither exists nor does not exist. These kind of views were created. The people who were looking for how to get rid of, for the methods of getting rid of the Māra's bait, Māra's trap, they got out of the seclusion, they got out of the secular life, but then what happened? They started creating views. They did not know view is another bondage. View is another bondage. Second to the sensual pleasures, view is the second most powerful bondage. View is mainly for what? View is mainly to maintain an ego. Yeah? Oh, I have this view, and nobody, I like to see no one touches my view, disturb my view, argue against my view, say no to my view. That means what? I am holding on to, I am being attached to. Now, these sorts of views are not existing today much, right? No. Why? Basically, today is not this is not an era. The spiritual search happens. Investigation on the spirituality. King Satya Gavesi, what is truth? King Kusala Gavesi, what is wholesome? Is not happening today. This era, basically, the search of materials. Yeah? Search of materials. Our lives are becoming more and more sophisticated with these materials. This is not the era of searching spirituality. True or not? Yeah, it is. It is. Therefore, these kind of views are not much in the prevalent in the present times. But we have our own views, right? Though we don't have this. Yeah? The people who think religion is useless. There are people who are said to be rejecting all the religion, who are so-called free thinkers. Yeah, there are. And that is their views. They have their own views to prove the lifestyle they live is correct. Right? There are views. People who want to eat meat, basically, what do they say? The view is what? These animals are the food provided for us by the God. They are alive because otherwise they get expired. Yeah, we cannot eat them if they were dead by the beginning. In the beginning, they keep alive, or they have the life. They have the life so that one day we can kill them and eat. It is not a killing. It is we are preparing the food. That is the excuse they find for killing. Thousands of cattle being killed today. Not thousand actually. Millions. Millions of cattle being killed today with that view. To safeguard their way of living, they create the views. Nothing else. What the Buddha said was, all the views are bondages. That is another method of Māra's trap. Another method of Māra's trap. The comparison was, having seen the third deer, the group of deer, having seen what happened to the first and second, what did they do was, they did not run away from the fence, from the bait of the hunters. They just hanging around closer to this bait. Time to time they come and eat the grass and quickly rush to their hidden place. But they are not so far away from the bait. Time to time they come and eat, drink some water, run away. So at first the hunters couldn't find them, but then hunters knew they are not so far away. They are living nearby. Then what did the hunters do was, they put another trap to capture them, because they were living, sleeping nearby. Yeah? As long as the deer is not going so far away, nearby, hunters can still catch them. So the third group of deer also caught by the hunters. This group of deer are the people who hold on to the views. Now in Buddhism, we have the first view, Ditti. That view is called Samma Ditti, against the Micca Ditti. Right? If we clarify a bit about Buddhist view, I tell you, Buddhist view is nothing but no view. Right? Samma Ditti is actually no Ditti. It is not a view. It is to have the openness, vulnerability to the truth. Yeah? If you understand something analytically by separation, with the separation, you are coming closer to the truth. Yeah? If I explain a bit about this more, careful. I explained this yesterday, I think. I don't know. Yeah? Now we say man, right? Man, I just use the term man for human being, short form. Okay? Both men, women included. Okay? Now man is a duality. Duality is what? We call name and form. We have a form which is human. Since we have the human form, we are called man, human being. If we do not have human form, we cannot be called human being, right? So they are interdependent. This one, in the Pali we call name Nama. I think Malay also. Yes. Form, Rupa. I heard Malay also. Yeah? Rupa. Nama and Rupa. Actually name Nama in Pali, it is the mind. Rupa, of course, the body. Body and mind. This is the duality. Now, as the appearances, as according to the languages we talk, according to the way we behave, according to the education level we have, according to our heights, according to our skin color, there are so much of separation among the men. Man, woman, teacher, student, employed, unemployed, so much of separation. Yeah? Thousands and thousands of separation. Yeah? But when you separate a human being in this category, mind and body, 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 all are mind and body, right? This is the truth in us. Now this truth can be analyzed more and more. When you analyze further, more and more, what happens? You come to the reality, you come to the absolute truth of it. Yeah? And as long as we don't analyze and look at it as a whole, we don't get the truth. I have a view on someone. Based on what? Based on the same type of person I have seen like him. Right? Based on the language he talks. Based on to the country he belongs. Based on to the color of his skin he has. Right? I have my own set of views. Now when I look at that person with all these views, I understand that person not as he is, but as to the ideas, concepts I have about him before that. Yeah? Not as he is. We never understand a person as he is. We understand the person according to the concepts, according to the knowledge we have in the earlier. Not as he is. So our view is never right. Why? Our view is, now if this is the human being, when we look at him, this person comes to us after number of layers and layers upon layers and layers of views we have created within ourselves. Going through all these layers upon layers of ideas, concepts, thinking, experiences. Yeah? With all these experiences, ultimately we decide that person. Our decision of that person is never right. So the view is a bondage. Now about this man, we have preconceived ideas. Now, with these preconceived ideas, we understand this person. It is never a right understanding. It is never revealing us the truth about this man. Yeah? It is like that. So the view is something always hindering our approach to the truth. View is never correct in that sense. Therefore, Buddha says what? Don't have any layers in you. Remove all the layers upon layers of these concepts and thinking and all these knowledges. Look at him as he is. Yeah. Now, if another religious person look at me, he look at me, first he see my bald head, then he see my robes, or Buddhist monk. And I am wearing this color robe, Burmese Buddhist monk. He remembers the photo, that Burmese monk with the pistol or a T-56 gun. Then what happened? No matter, I have never been even to Burma. Yeah, I have no contact with the Burmese monk at all, but still he will start creating concepts about me, right? And he look at me like that. So he never understands the real person because of the preconceived views. So his view about me is always negative side, right? He's always negative. Therefore, our view is never correct. Right? I have given this example several times. A bird, when he saw a scarecrow, what does the bird think? Scarecrow. If the bird thinks this is scarecrow, then scarecrow is useless. Yeah? The purpose never served. The scarecrow thinks what? This is a man. So the birds flew away. If the birds were thinking that this is a man, birds cannot come too closer to the battlefield. Yeah. Likewise, understanding, ours understanding also nothing much different to the birds. Yeah. So when we see a heap of sand, we don't see the grains of sand in the heap. We see only a solid sand, solid heap as a whole somewhere. But when we are getting closer and closer, when we stand here and watch, we can see small, big, all sorts of grains of sand. And it is not a heap. Actually, it is not a something solid, single unit. It is a collection of grains of sand. Now, when you can separate and see, you are seeing as it is. When you see as a whole, as a one unit, without separation, what happened? You don't see the reality of it. So the right view happens with the analytical observation, analytical understanding. Right view happens. Right? So the truth happens with the analytical understanding. That is we can explain this further and further. Yeah? So the right view is a liberating view. Liberating view from what? Bondages. Wrong view is binding us. That is why the third group, who neither went to the forest, who were in the midst of sensual pleasures, but they were little bit away from the sensual pleasures. But what happened? They created their own bondages. They are called the views. Buddha says they also get into the troubles. They also will be captured by the Māra, the devil, the evil one. The fourth group, This fourth group of deer, they came to the place where the food is, where the greeneries are, and they ate very cautiously to the limit. When you eat to the limit, you don't get intoxicated. Yeah? That's why, even the fifth precept, the taking alcohol, if you know how to take to the limit, we don't encourage this though. I trust you. People don't know how to take to the limit. They always exceed the limit. Right? But the precept says what? Taking alcohol to lose your control on yourself, to lose the sensibility, to lose the wisdom. People take alcohol. Otherwise, we cannot get rid of alcohol. Even when you eat rice contains a percentage of alcohol. Yeah, and even when you take the Ayurvedic medicines, those concoctions have a certain type of alcohol. Certain percentage is there. Cannot avoid. Yeah. Now, this alcohol is taking is all about losing the control of yours. That is the mistake. That is the wrong side. If you know the limit, if you are aware of your limit, you will never be intoxicated. This fourth group of monks, they know they have to maintain the body, they have to maintain the physical body, because physical body is your house, is your vehicle. Yeah? You have to protect it, you have to preserve it, you have to keep it healthy, you have to keep it strong. Otherwise, how can you practice? So for the purpose of keeping the body healthy and strong, they take food, but to the limit. Yeah. And then, after taking the food, they go far away. They don't hang around after that. They go far away, to a place where these deer, they run away to a far away place so that the hunters can never catch them. Buddha says, be the last group of deer. Knows how to control themselves. They know how to eat to the limit. They never get intoxicated. And after that, they run away. With this example, Buddha says, the monks who started meditating, practicing mindfulness, practicing sati, they start developing jhana. I would like to show you Buddha's explanation of jhana. Right? Jhana is what? What is the translation of jhana? Absorptions. Psychological, mental absorptions. When you are absorbed, what does it mean? You are absolutely in it. Jhana is when your whole consciousness is absolutely in a single selected object of meditation. You and the object of meditation exists, nothing else in the world. That is the jhana, absorptions. This is how we explain. quite secluded from sensual pleasures, secluded from unwholesome states, a bhikkhu enters upon and abides in the first jhana. Okay? Now, contents of the jhana, which is accompanied by applied and sustained thought. So, applied and sustained thought, number 1 and 2. Number 3, rapture. And number 4, pleasure. Right? These are the contents of the jhana. Applied thought, sustained thought, rapture, pleasure, and the concentration. 5 factors, right? Applied thought, sustained thought, rapture, pleasure, and the concentration. 5 factors in the first jhana. This is, if I go to explain, there's a long explanation. I need 1 more hour. Yeah? But this is your holidays, right? Enjoy the holidays. 1 hour enough. This is the first jhana. Second jhana, applied and sustained thought is gone. Second jhana. Only rapture and pleasure, concentration. 3 factors. Right? Third jhana, rapture gone, pleasure, concentration only. Fourth jhana, pleasure gone. Instead of that, upekha, equanimity has come. Equanimity, concentration, fourth jhana. Now, if someone finds the happiness within, that means he is not finding happiness from what? Sensual pleasures. If someone experiences the truth, he will not create views. View is for the people who do not experience truth. Yeah? View is for those people who do not experience the truth. Now, even forget about the other factors, other development of meditation. Even in the first 4 jhanas, that person finds the happiness within. Once you found the happiness within, what happened? He do not seek the happiness from outside. Now, I have given this example to you about rice and cake. Right? When you cook rice, can you eat just rice without even salt? Can you just eat rice? Impossible, right? No way. Can? Yeah, yes. We have to add. We have to add something. Otherwise, how can you eat? We don't have the taste. Without curries, without veggies, then we have to add the taste. Pleasure comes from what? From the outside. If you are the rice, you have to take the taste from outside. Yeah? Pleasure comes from where? Outside. Why? Within you, no pleasure, no joy. You are not unto happiness yourself. In the jhanas, what happened? You start finding your own pleasure within. Then you don't care about other factor. You are not looking for pleasure from outside. The monks, though they eat these tasty grass, Nivāpa, not for pleasure, but to sustain the body. When you eat to sustain the body, you know the control. When you eat for pleasure, no control. Not enough. Yeah? But when you eat just to sustain your body, you always know the limit. Yeah? So these monks who have got the jhanas, they are happy within themselves. They are not looking for happiness from this grass. I mean, they don't eat grass like the deer. Yeah? They just eat for their bodies to sustain. These are two different things. Eating for pleasure and eating for sustaining the body. Buddha's advice is always for the monks is to eat to sustain the body, not for pleasure, not for joy. Joy and pleasure shouldn't be found from the food. Joy and pleasure should be found within. Once you found the joy and pleasure within you, you are not depending on happiness from others. You are, the comparison is what? A cake, piece of cake. A piece of cake, when you eat a delicious piece of cake, you bring me and see how I eat. I don't add anything. I just eat them. Joking. Don't bring. Yeah, just you can eat the cake itself. Nothing more to add. The taste is within. Buddha is like a piece of cake. I mean, he is happy unto himself. His happiness is within himself. Nobody can make him sad. Nobody can make him happy. He is happy already within. If someone is depending on others, then only others can make you sad, others can make you happy. Once you found the happiness within yourself, you start getting rid of the bondage of the Māra. In the Sutta, the other jhanas are explained. After 4 jhanas, then you go to the formless jhana. Formless jhana. Yeah? Go deeper and deeper into these jhanas. Then more and more you are getting rid of the bondage of the Māra. That's what happened. That's what happened. Yeah? So this is how Buddha explained to get rid of the Māra's bait. With the simile of the deer bait, those days the hunters used to catch the deer. Yeah? Okay. Yeah. Sadhu.